A lot of individuals ask what I did differently to become successful. What changed, man? Last time I saw you, that's how the story normally starts. Well, I'm going to tell you. There is one fundamental rule that everyone that has immense success has in common. That thing is desire. They talked about it in Think and Grow Rich, which is one of the most successful books in the world. In fact, in Think and Grow Rich, in their 13-step plan to success, desire is number one. Make no mistake, those that are hungry eventually eat. So desire is the key. It's what propels us to move forward. And it's all the same word. Some people call it hunger or ambition, but no matter what it is, it's the same thing. It's that factor that no matter what, we're going to overcome. You know, you look on social media and you see people that were overweight or super duper skinny, and now they got this curvaceous, buff, toned up body. You see people that never been anywhere in their life, and now all of a sudden they've been around the globe multiple times. You see people like Michael Jordan, LeBron James that are just the absolute best at their field. You see people like Lil Wayne and rappers that are all at the top of their game and known as the best. What do these people all have in common, man? They have desire. Because the skill set don't automatically come. There's a lot of people that's really good at basketball. But some of these basketball players that we spoke of would start practice before practice even started. And then when practice was over, guess what? They kept practicing. Here's the thing about it. Some people are not necessarily the smartest or the sharpest tool in the shed, man. Yet they still are successful. You've heard about it. You've heard about musicians that can't even read or write, but they're idolized by the masses. They live in luxury. People that's been homeless and all of a sudden they worth millions of dollars. There's a lot of people out there, man, that are not the sharpest tool in the shed, yet they are super, super successful. Why? For me, a lot of people don't know. I slept in the park, man. I'm just going to keep it 100. I remember putting down a cardboard box and laying on it in the park to get a safe place to sleep. And I remember a security guard came over and gave me a little gentle kick and said, "Hey, you can't sleep here, man." And I remember getting up off that ground at that park, and I remember thinking to myself, damn, I ain't even good enough to sleep outside in a park. You know, that night I roamed the streets, and later on I found a mall. And I went through the back hallways through the mall. I found an open door, and there was a room with a dumpster. And I laid down and I went to sleep right by that dumpster. It smelled, but at least I was warm. Now, I remember other times where I didn't even have that. So I slept in the rain with nowhere to go. You see, I was making poor choices and bad decisions. At the time, I had a son. He was like 5 or 6 years old, and I really only saw him 8 to 10 times out of the whole year. You know, that wasn't really where I wanted to be in my son's life. He had heard so many rumors about me that he didn't know what to believe, man. But he knew that I loved him. I was lost for years, y'all. I took showers in the bathroom at the library. I used to shave just to stay clean cut, just to be accepted by normal society, to put on an appearance as if I was normal, but really I was a bum. I remember getting in trouble and they threw me in jail. But in jail, we had 3 meals. We had a bed, we had a shower. So it wasn't as bad as being out there being homeless. Being broke and homeless was embarrassing. Plus, I missed my son. I was at a point in my life for a very long time where I was not living up to the man that I felt God intended me to be. And see, after the storm cleared and the cloud lifted, I began to slowly manifest my desires. The desire grew stronger and stronger as I slept in these various places, and I see people driving down the street in nice cars, enjoying their life. It's funny because I never hated on them, man, because I always knew deep down inside there was a way I would get it as long as that deep-rooted desire came out. You see, I knew I never hated on nobody because I knew deep down inside that as long as that deep down desire manifested in my life, that I would one day become successful. You see, I desired to eat a nice meal. I desired meeting a beautiful woman. I desired earning a living. I desired having a purpose in life. I desired success. And so I began to walk in that direction. All my decisions after that point, when the change happened and the hunger came inside of me, all my decisions were based on my desires and fulfilling my dreams. You see, once you have that component, then you find out exactly what you're good at, and then you find out what it is that you're good at and what you love, and you start walking in that direction. And by walking in that direction, I mean learning, getting the information, the education, the knowledge that's necessary to dominate and become the best at what you do in your prospective field. Then, after you learn that education at what it is that you want to do, you execute, you keep learning, and you put those practices in play. Because desire and education and all of that stuff means nothing if you don't put it into practice. Okay, so action was very important. For me, it was credit. I didn't have no rich uncle that was about to lace my pockets, and so I had to find a way to fulfill my dreams and to fund my plans. So I learned about credit. Desire is what propelled me to take those steps. So for me personally, man, I started learning about credit and everything like that, and then after 5 months, I got $19,000. $19,000 to a guy that's been sleeping in a park is a lot of money. And see, I desired to have my son back in my life. So what do you think I did? The first thing I did when I got my $19,000, I went and got a 2-bedroom apartment. I got off the couch. See, to manifest what I wanted, I had to walk in that direction. A 2-bedroom, now my son has his own room, man. So at 11, he came to live with me, and he's been living with me ever since. He's 16 years old now. A single dad raising his son really only makes you go harder in life. And then I began to progress. I built my personal and my business brand. I continued building my business credit. I continued studying. I hired lawyers. I began getting properties and making strategic moves. I began traveling the world. You know, David Castaigne, who was a marketing genius, always says that he realized if his worst nightmares could come true, then so could his wildest dream. So I began traveling the world, man. I remember I took a vacation to the Philippines. I spoke about this before, man. The Philippines was the most beautiful country, man. It was cheap to get there. The food was cheap. Everything was cheap. The skies was beautiful. I remember I went to get a back massage. The back massage was $5. I threw them a bonus of $5. The lady jumped up and hugged me. She wasn't used to that. That was a lot of money to her. I said, okay, I'm in the right place, man. This is a good place for me. So I stayed in the Airbnb in the Philippines, and I remember asking this Filipino lady there, I said, how much does an Airbnb like this cost? She said, such and such pesos. It sounded like a lot. I said, how much is that in dollars? She said, it's about $20,000. I said, $20,000? I got that on my credit card. And it's funny, you guys, I remember talking to somebody on the phone. She was a tax lady. We're still in contact to this day. Shout out to her. And she was telling me one of the things that you cannot do is use credit to go into debt. Use credit to buy credit. But I want to tell you guys, if you want something in life, there's always a way to do it. And so I did it, man. There is a company that was called Plastique at the time. Plastique will take it and they will make a regular business purchase look like a purchase. They'll take that from your credit card. I utilized that method and another method, and I gave these people the money. Then I went back and paid off that credit card. So when somebody says you can't do this or you can't do that, I just did it, man. There ain't nothing that I can't do, man. I could do anything in this world that is possible. When your desire runs deep enough, nothing is going to stop you. That's what Matt Higgins means when he says burn the boats. That's what 50 Cent means when he say get rich or die trying. That's that deep-rooted desire. And when I started accomplishing some of these accomplishments, I looked back and I said, damn, I kind of laughed to myself. I said, you did it. Well, how'd you do it? I said, I'm hungry. I'm hungry, man. And guess what? A thought rang to me in my head back to when I was a little child. I was a little child and Les Brown rang in my head. That was the motivational speaker back then. I remember him screaming, I'm hungry. I never watched the man, but now I see what he's talking about. He hungry. I'm hungry, man. I never be thirsty out there, man. Never be thirsty, but always keep and maintain that hunger. Always keep and maintain your desires.